Can you clear up this controversy here that I read, and of course I believe everything I read in Hollywood, said that you were escorted out of a Dodger game. I believe the Dodgers were playing the Cardinals.
Yes.
Were you escorted / thrown out?
I was escorted to the top of the steps by security. The gentleman that I was involved in a verbal confrontation with was escorted out of the game. I was not escorted out of the game. I was allowed to return to my seat later.
Because you're famous?
No, because that's one way of looking at it. No, because I just let the police and the security sort of see what was going on. Once we got to the steps, I just quieted down, and the other gentleman proceeded to...
Wait, how do you get involved in it?
He was heckling Matt Kemp the whole game. Oh. And I had just recently started going to Dodgers games, and I was sitting... he was in the front row. And, you know, he was heckling Matt Kemp. And after he heckled Matt Kemp one time, I said, "Hey, man." And he turned around. And me thinking he would think it was funny because it's me saying it to him, I said, "How awesome would it have been if Matt Kemp would have just knocked you the F out?" Like the ultimate fan experience, right? You want to talk a big game, and now you just get knocked out by one of the players.
Sure.
And thinking that would be funny, he didn't take it that way, and we got into a verbal altercation, and he proceeded to just let me have it for about a minute, to which I said nothing, and then it calmed down, and then I re-engaged him, which is what I will take credit for, responsibility for. And then in the middle of it, this big Dodgers fan with a lot of tattoos and a bald head and a goatee comes down, and he taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Yo, Cam, we got your back, bro." And I was like, and so it kept going, and then the security comes down, and they escort us up to the top of the steps. I literally get to the top of the steps, and the police officer's like, "Stonestreet, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just got into it. And this guy just kept talking, and they were like, "Finally, all right, you got to go." And then they said, "You go down to your seat, don't say another word." And I was like, I won't. But of course, the next day, TMZ's got it, and they're saying that I was like, "Don't you know who I am?" It's like the typical thing that happens.
Have you ever done a "Don't you know who I am"?
No, I mean, I may have said, things like, "Hey, like," no, I've never done that. I've never, and I would suggest that most people that have said that a star has done that or a TV person said that has not done that. Like, do you think so? Do you think people do that?
I think people who aren't somebody but think they're somebody then ask, "Don't you know who I am?"
Yeah, but I find that in our business that the more successful you are, usually the less likely you would do that.
Yeah.
It's the people that think that's what like famous people would do. That's what they do.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.